all the things that we have done, and I can be able to say that it has been a worthwhile and continues to be a worthwhile experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I'm going to give Kuda to speak.
Thank you very, very much, host. I thought before we close off and before we go, I'll give you guys a quick little testimony on my own behalf, and I hope this will give some sort of encouragement to the faithful who are listening today. It's not a secret that in 2016, 2017, 2018, I was actively fighting against the MDC Alliance in Mount Pleasant constituency. But funnily enough, at the same time, I had been asked to manage the campaign of Honorable Wende in KwaZulu East. And also I was drafted to assist in the presidential campaign for Nelson Chamisa. So you can imagine the confliction at the time. And this is because obviously we were hoping to be part of the alliance, but obviously Mokatangai died, everything got crazy at the very end of the process. So you can imagine that when me and the mayor worked together so closely these days, you have to remember that he was in Ward 17 and I was actively decampaigning him and he was actively decampaigning my candidate in the same ward. But these people are now working together, Advocate Mayor, the mayor of Harare, all these people are now in the same team. And the one thing that I'm very, very confident of now, and remember, like I said, I'm coming from a position where I used to be a critic. And I used to have a lot of opinions and a lot of ideas. And, Zimbabwe is generally creative, educated people. So we always have great ideas and want to suggest stuff. I learned quickly the last couple of months. I stopped trying to give suggestions and online advice and shouting at leadership. And thought, what if I actually actively participate? And just put where my competencies lie, I happen to run organizations within Zim and outside. I'll take some time off, see whatever sort of position I could slot into so I could assist, right? And that's been eye-opening for me. It's been eye-opening, number one, because now I'm far more empathetic with the leadership that we have. I'm far more empathetic with the rural vote. I'm far more empathetic with the volunteers. I'm far more empathetic to people who do not have the same privileges as I do. I'm a guy who grew up in Australia. I went to school in New York. I went to London City. Very privileged in many ways. But when I come on these political grounds and I'm working with some of these people, I now realize that I'm a novice. I know nothing. Because my bright ideas sometimes are superimposed with positionality. I'm very, very confident that I worked for the Ken Livingstone campaign in London for mayor. I learned some of the best practices in electioneering and campaign management, but some of those things cannot be superimposed from London to Harare or to Bohera. It's very difficult, and now I'm much more sympathetic. So you will see online there's a lot of criticism for the leadership, there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of anger, frustration from the faithful. People who are supposed to be allies are not exactly allies at the moment. And I understand that feeling. My recommendation is let's try and put our skill sets into the system, into the CCC. And by doing so, you quickly start to see the amazing problems that are there. And all your competencies, I'm hearing all the people speaking here, so articulate, so clever, so doing such great work overseas. Some of those competencies, if they're pushed into the system, improve systems quickly and efficiently. Automating messages, WhatsApp automation, using bots, using great database systems and software to manage mass data. All these are the kind of things that I do in my company personally. But I've sort of brought to the table, say, how can I assist in this space? And in doing so, I've learned 1,000 things. The one thing that I've learned, for example, is, President Chamisa is not a fool. He's the smartest 44, 45-year-old I've ever met in my life. He's just a year older than me, but he's smart as death. And that's because he's been in government. He worked with ZANU-PF hand in hand with Mugabe, because if you think he is a prop, Mugabe was the proper guy. Mugabe had proper power. This is the guy Anabas. I mean, Mugabe was the guy. And President Chamisa worked in those spaces and understands the system very well, right? And Comrade BT, for example, Walshman Mube, these guys are seasoned. I mean, David Coulthard. So what I've discovered about the leadership currently in CCC is there's a reason for absolutely everything. We sit on the sidelines sometimes and we say, why can't there be a constitution? We need a Congress. We need this. And there's all these demands being made, but we're doing that from a position of not understanding. See, when President Chamisa looks at the Congresses, he will tell you that every Congress that MDC ever had has caused a split. He will tell you that every single split was brought about through the constitution with the using of judges. Zimbabwean judges, which are mostly captured, right? And he'll tell you so many important things about what's happening on the ground that you have to remember that when the leadership says they're taking their time to craft a proper citizens movement manifesto and a proper citizens constitution, they're doing it understanding what happens if you do a rushed job. You see, if you do a rushed job, what you do is you take the MDCA constitution, mochinja mazita, which is exactly what MDCT did when they moved into MDCA. You mochinja mazita. And then you just say, this is our constitution. And then you have 200 pages of bullshit. Because what happens is the judges can then take that, interpret it, and then split the party in two, split the party in three. You raise the money for a motkari CCC 4, CCC 5. That's what the leadership is fighting against right now. How do they make a robust, citizens-driven constitution that cannot be used by the judiciary, moles, and infiltrators to split the party and cause trouble during congresses, etc.? And I now understand that. I didn't understand it even 3 weeks ago. I'm like, guys, about the Congress, we need this. But I now understand that they need to take their time. They are the smartest lawyers in Zimbabwe in the CCC. We're very blessed. Take their time. They want to draft something good. It's going to be proper and it's going to stand the test of time. And if we force it to come out quickly and change names from previous pieces of garbage, our citizens' movement will die. Because they have used the same system to kill it before. So I urge the faithful who are here today that when we have ideas and we have frustrations, let's try and also take some of these things outside these public forums and spaces. I highly urge CCC, DMV, and the team at Diaspora, take us off these spaces sometimes and put us in private Zoom sessions so we can talk and give each other ideas without the opening ears of the moles, because they're here right now. They're listening to what we say. We're strategizing in public, and it's pathetic if you think about it, but it's necessary because we have to do it. But I think we're going to have to now really start thinking about as the party institutionalizes, as these things like constitutions are being discussed, some of these really important issues need to be taken away. Private teams, private Zoom sessions, in ourselves, within within the America, the cell structures and everybody else, because the leadership has to make good decisions and they have to come up with robust documentation that institutionalizes this movement in such a way that cannot be infiltrated and cause the multiple splits. If you think about Dalton Mangoma, think about Tendai beating PDP, if you think about Code, if you think about Renewal with Job Sikala, MDC 99, if you think about all these splits, they all happened during Congress, they all happened because of misinterpretation of the law by different people and using the judiciary to split. Tendai BT has been recalled over 5 times. Imagine that. He was even recalled by Morgan Tsvangirai. Recalled by, it was recalled. And these recalls are all because of a faulty constitution that can be interpreted by ZANU-PF funded judges to cause confusion within our movement. So, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you all to participate in any way you can. Slot in where you can. If you're great at finance, slot in. Find somebody, slot in with your in America, slot in England, slot in Zim. Virtually, we can do a bunch of stuff together. Get closer so you can understand some of the real issues on the coalface. The issue with scale for me was mind-blowing because I understand it in my business, but I didn't understand it in politics. That if you raise £25,000, you think that's a crazy amount of cash. Then you say, cool, Mr. Ian Makoni, Honorable Makoni, we have 25,000 grand of cash. And he says, great, guys, I have 2,300 polling stations. And each polling station needs 3 people. So what you're giving me is $10 divided by 3. So you're giving me $3 per person for these polling stations. I mean, when you think about it like that, you're like, wow, Saka guys, it didn't work hard enough. And this is why I'm tirelessly now not sleeping, because I really now empathize with our leadership. These guys are not dumb. There's no one who can tell me Nelson Chamisa is stupid. Tonight it is not stupid. Worshipment movie is not stupid. These guys are, I'm not a hero worshiper by any means. I'm not a rubber stamper. I don't rubber stamp anybody. I'm a very independent mind, very independent thinker. And I was very critical, but I would urge everyone now, say, you know what, take a step back sometimes and think about some of the real issues that have to happen. When Honorable Wende goes to Usumba, what are the real fundamental issues he has to deal with there? How do we get him there? He's an MP who was recalled, his car was taken away. How do we get him there? How does he live when he's there? I mean, they were sleeping in people's houses, well-wishers' houses. Do we accept them to just get there without taking even a bag of rice? I mean, how do they talk to people? Do we give them flyers in English or do we give them flyers in Shona? Like my brother was saying about, how can we make sure that even the way people vote is clearly marked on the flyers so that we don't show that there's going to be yellow on the ballot box, but the ballot box would be black and white? These are all real scale issues, right? But then now, when we send the faithful to go to Matebele land, we cannot expect them to have the same type of flyers. It's a different space. They've got different leaders, different community leaders, different people who expect different things. So, as far as I'm concerned now, we all have a kumusha. Let's really engage the cells in our kumushas. And I'm also born in Bari. So those are two spaces that I really care about. And I'm going to do whatever I can in those spaces as well. Because the faithful on the ground are great hardware. But sometimes the software is lacking. Sometimes it's simple things, flyers, bibs for voter registration, working smartphones or feature phones. Things that I have in my drawer. An old Android phone can make a world of difference for one of the faithful in Hutu. So these are the kind of things that we don't always have to think about cash. We don't have to think about t-shirts. These are the things that we as people, if we care about this movement, we're going to have to be more supportive to our leaders. We're going to have to, and I hate saying this because it sounds very churchy, but I'm a pastor's kid. We're going to have to trust our leadership right now. And when we have problems with our leadership, we're going to have to try and deal with them per side. Because what's happening right now is to shout down and we have to just go on any of the timelines. They're having a fun time highlighting tweets by Fatai versus Pachedu versus MTC. They love it. They love amplifying the divisions. And I think it's time that we stop giving them this ammunition all the time. Because we do it because we love it and we're passionate and we care. But we also now need to be disciplined within the structures and think, how are we going to take some of our conversations offline? How are we going to meet up in Zoom meetings? How are we going to be disciplined enough to say, every Thursday at 3, we're going to meet up in a Zoom and have a 30-minute session with our cell and our branch, and then from our branch to our districts and districts to our, to our wards. We're going to really have to grow in that way because that's the movement that is needed to win 2023. And the competencies, the accountants, the lawyers, the administrators, the people who work communications, that's going to come from the citizen. It's going to come from you guys. All this really, really high-end dope stuff that we want. Great tech, great communication, all this stuff is going to come from you guys. And you are the citizens. And let's never say, we've got enough people in council. No, we can't say that anymore. We have to now participate. Let's get behind some of these people and give them capacity. Let's give them the ability. Let's give them the keys to take on campaign. Give them the flyers. Sometimes it's giving them advice or even, believe it or not, just a word of encouragement. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, just words of encouragement sometimes go a long way to keep people who are working in the worst environment. Zero resources, literally, no money from government, nothing. Everything is coming from the citizenry. And at the same time, we're bashing them over the head. I think we now need to think about this. Say, let's also be kind. Kindness to our leaders. Let's be fair to our leaders. Let's treat like a family. Let's take each other aside from I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this. And then let's bring things back. Our SG today was hounded because of ice cream. Not by ZANU-PF, by us. That is what I'm saying, guys. I really urge us to be the bastions of sanity and say, no, you know what? We're not going to say, after the SG's whole week, we're not going to highlight this whole weekend. by the fact that he bought an ice cream. Because that, I think, really took away from the great story of the rural mobilization.
That's not what that was
guys,
about.
thank you very much for listening, and I appreciate you
That didn't even
joining us
trust you.
today. Change this through. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Kuda. What words of wisdom and encouragement. Thank you, thank you. You know, that actively participate is just sat on me. And that empathy, honestly, if we had empathy, we would not be running down our leadership. We would respect and trust because they are under pressure and they are working in an environment that is just so risky. And some of us, you know, live abroad in these safe places. So, you know, that empathy is so critical. Thank you, Kuda. I don't want to take anything away from what you said. That was really powerful. So we're going to be closing down now. Thank you to everyone that has donated. This is not the end of it. So tonight is not the end of it. The fundraiser is out there. There's going to be many more fundraising opportunities. You know, that the team are going to get invited to. Please continue to support. Share the link with a friend. Share the link with a relative. You know, encourage them to give. That $3.50 for a cup. That's really important. That will go a long way. So I'm just going to come back to our speakers. We're here just to ask if they have any closing remarks. So if I come to you, CC Diaspora, and then CCDMV, Tembes, and then I'll come back to Mambo Sushi. Thank you. CC Diaspora might not be available. So if I can go to CCDMV, if you want to say one word, and then Thames, and then we'll have Mambo Shoshi speak last. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think what everyone has said, and in particular the ways that Kuda has said, that we really need to focus on unity. We need to focus on uniting together and work as a team that is focused on the right things. There are a lot of things that are going on in spaces. There are a lot of things that are meant to distract and deter us. But if we keep our focus on the goal, we will see that anything that we do, even the ideas, even the way that we interact and are able to bring feedback to our leaders will be done in a coordinated effort. So we're not saying that these people don't do wrong, or they don't, that we're not supposed to be bringing issues. I think that's the whole point of having a democratic space. But we need to ensure that whatever what we are doing is not exposing us and is not leading us astray. Let's identify one another. Let's know who we are. And I'm telling you, if you join and become a part of this team wholeheartedly, you will know everything, what is happening in the back end and how these people are working. These people, these volunteers who are working, they are working really, really hard. And as much as it is good and we appreciate everything that is done on Twitter Spaces, offline and online, we need you to come and join us. We need you to be a part of us. We need you to become part of this inner circle. So like I said, and when I come here and I speak, I'm telling you guys, come and join us. We need you. We need your financial resource, but we need your human resource. We are in dire need, and each passing second is critical. You are one of us, and pasa rutoda iwe nini aridi mwe munhu arina kumirira mumwe munhu runotoda iwe nini. So please guys, the space is there. Let no one tell you the space is not there. Utakamira my elections, utakamira kuvota, or hakuna ma structures. Kunyepa ikoko, we are working. People are motivated. People are not sleeping, working to make sure good things are getting done. And there's more to be done. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for those words, and for telling people that we are working. You're so right. We are continuing to work. We are doing everything that we can to stand in the gap for Zimbabwe. And this is for Zimbabwe, so that we have a free and fair Zimbabwe in which everyone can thrive. That's so important to have that on people's minds. Thank you. And to Thames, if you have any closing remarks.
Thank you very much, host. I do not have much to say. I think Kuda has summarized it very well. It's always nice to respect each other and know where to raise concerns. If you've got concerns, you should know which door to knock on. We can't be having some spaces being opened to criticize that is being done by our leaders. So guys, I'm reminding you again, there is 10 million Zimbabweans that reside in the rural area. You can go on Google and check it. There's 10 million Zimbabweans that reside in the rural area. So when it comes to numbers, most people in the urban area are outnumbered by people in the rural area. So it's up to me and you to do something about reaching out to the people in the rural area. With the forthcoming elections on the 7th of May, it's up to me and you to do something about it, to make a contribution, make a change. If you want to see Zimbabwe a better country, it's up to me and you. If you look at before 1980, our fathers and our forefathers took it upon themselves to be free of oppression. Now we're under a black oppression, a different type of an oppression. If we're going to sit down and watch, our grandchildren are going to ask us one question. Grandpa, grandma, what did you do when things were going wrong? Let's do something. Let's not just sit down and watch things going wrong. And the best thing we can do is for us to all come together. We all know that we do not have any funds that are coming from the state. So it's up to me and you to make sure that the R1, the $5, the $10 that you have,
come on.
There's no small money. There's no big money. Whatever you can contribute, be part of a change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much there, Thames. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And that statistic is quite powerful. That, those 10 million rural population is so critical for us to get to. And if only we could get 2/3 of those to register to vote and, to go and vote, that would be so amazing for our country. And lastly, to Mambo Shoshe.
I think so. Change Radio as a public relations officer, and also for the work that you do for the party as a communications caretaker, communications secretary for UK and Ireland. Let me also take the opportunity to thank everyone who is here for your sacrifices, your commitment, and your dedication to this struggle. I was amazed a few weeks ago during the 26th March by-elections when I saw people sleeping on a Twitter space, going for 3-4 days without sleeping, fundraising for our fellow champions in Zimbabwe. That's dedication. That's our commitment. And, no words can appreciate you. I think your appreciation only come in 2023 in a free Zimbabwe. But thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I know there are people that are here that are donating money, not on the spaces, but in their various structures, United Kingdom, in Germany, in Middle East, in South Africa, in the USA, in Canada. Thank you for all that you are doing. I think one thing that we have shown as people in the diaspora is that we can support our own struggle. We can support what is going on in Zimbabwe. We have the ability to do that. And we can even do more, if we become organized, if we are united, we speak with one voice, we emulate what President Chamisa has been speaking at all the rallies, at all the gatherings. He has been a prince of peace. He has been speaking, preaching the gospel of peace, that spirit of oneness, the spirit of togetherness. I feel it every time when he's on stage and he's urging people to be united, to be together, and that's exactly what our brother here, Kuda, was talking about again, that let's move away from, politics of personalities, of attacking each other, politics of hate, politics of division. If you really see anyone, at this stage, 12 months away from an important election, still focusing on individuals and attacking, each other or attacking someone, then all I can say is please pray for those people, because that's not where we should be. We should be focusing on the bigger picture. We should be focusing on things that unite us, on things that get us closer to the State House in 2023. That's what we should be focusing on. And lastly, I really want to thank my brother Kuda. Sometimes we don't appreciate one another and the work that we do. The system that you have brought, Kuda, this coffee system, some people might just take it lightly. Oh, it's just a system. But to me, I think you've brought us to first world politics. This is what happens in America. You donate money, you get feedback. You know where your money is going. That's crucial. There's nothing that beats transparent. There's nothing that beats giving feedback to the people. No matter how much someone has donated, they've donated $10. They deserve to know how their money was used and where it went, and they deserve an appreciation. Just to say thank you. A system that just still comes to you and say thank you for your donation. This is how you used your money. I've received your emails, and I put that together with what happens here in the USA. I'm a donor to the Democrats. I started when I was a student, donating $50 when I came here. But when I donated that $50, you know what happened? I received a letter that was signed by Obama, and I was like, "What? Obama has written me a letter?" I didn't even think about an electronic signature. I was just coming from Africa, and I was so excited. I never removed that $50. I kept, donating it every month. They were just taking it, and over the years, they've been coming to me. I think I'm now donating $150, every month. They just take it. But what motivated me to keep doing that was the feedback, the constant feedback that they give you whenever you donate. Even if you add $10 to that, they will come back and thank you. Thank you so much. They even mention your name. But when I was young, thank you so much. And that's what I want to encourage you, Kuda, and your team. I'm glad that you now have people that are helping you, 15 people behind you. That really helps, because now you can reach out to more people. Do not be deterred. When people want information, people want feedback. I'm bombarded with information by the Democrats and the Republicans every day. They are pushing something. They are pushing their content, and at the end of that, they will just say, "Can you please chip in with $10? Can you chip in with $20? So that's what you also need to do. You and your team, diaspora, CC diaspora. I see you're also using coffee. Change Radio is also using coffee, and you need to be doing that, reaching out to people, thanking people. Us in the provinces, we are fine, we are safe, because we have a structure that is, already operating. We have treasurers that will give, instant and constant feedback to the people that would have donated within the structure. We have the communication secretary who will tell people that this is where your money is gone. But if you are raising money, in the wider society, it's so difficult for you to be able to keep in touch with people and give people constant feedback. And that has been our downfall in the diaspora. I've lived for 20 years here in the diaspora. I've seen this wave where people want to donate. It was there during the time of Morgan Tsvangirai, and then it disappeared because some people messed it up. We don't want that. We want to keep this goodwill that we have with the citizens, with the people, and the system that you have developed. I'm telling you, it will go a long way in strengthening that relationship between the party and the people. And beyond the 7th May by-elections, I hope we're all going to sit down and then we map the way forward for 2023. How do we twin each other? Twinning really works, we've seen it working. But anyone here can be part of that as well. I've seen people that are coming up and saying, Chief, I want to support a constituent. I want to support a wife. There are people right now that are supporting a wife. Anyone can do that. CC Diaspora can, take 10 wards or 10 constituencies. Any organization, the citizens can come together and, twin themselves with the constituents. But what is important is to make sure that we know what the left hand is doing and what the right hand is doing. We should be able to come together and know what Kuda and his team and the mayor and the SG are doing, so that we can channel resources where they are needed. We don't want to see a situation where we buy T-shirts, we put them in Manicaland, and then CC Diaspora does the same thing. North America province, takes the T-shirts to Manicaland again, and we don't have anything in Kai, we don't have anything in Lupane. So let's find a way of sitting down, and then we come up with a way. I think, if we can come up with that system, use it with the system that we have come up with. We have a budget. People know that this is what we are fundraising for. We should be able to get more from the diaspora. We should be able to finance this whole struggle. I was talking to Mayor Mafume, was telling me that we need about $60,000 to $70,000, a month to run the party. That the organizing department will be getting their budget. The Women Assembly will be getting their budget. The Youth Assembly will be getting its budget. The President's Office, so that all departments, are, functioning in full force as we go towards 2023. We can easily come up with that budget of $70,000 a month if we come together. But I want to thank you again, everyone who is here, for everything that you have done, the sacrifices. I'm telling you, they are appreciated. We appreciate as Zimbabweans, as citizens, but most importantly, we'll be able to appreciate each other in 2023 in a new Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And, I'm not going to add any more, but just to say my thank you to Kuda, Thames, and the team at the CC Fundraising, and all those listening. Thank you so much for coming. To all those that have contributed, thank you so much. Every little helps. There's no big amount or small amount. Every amount is a real bonus to this. So we are going to continue tweeting this. We are going to continue driving this fundraiser to make sure that we can achieve what we need to do. So thank you so much, CC Diaspora co-host. Thank you, CC DMV. Thank you to all the speakers that spoke. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Mambo Shoshe. And we hope to see you back again soon. So good night, everyone. And I'm just going to close us out with my favorite DJ Carol. Sorry I keep playing her, but until I get something better, we'll close out with DJ Carol. Good night, good morning, good day, wherever you are. Bye-bye.